Hey guys, how y'all doing? BionicleSaurus here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Papo Acrocanthosaurus. So, yep, we're doing this today, again. It's not really that there's anything, like, wrong with the way that we've been doing reviews over the past few months. I'm just in some desperate need of artistic nuance at this point. So let's get into the dude. This is what we call a good figure. And good is about the most enthusiastic word I can use for it. Even good is almost a stretch. I guess you could say decent. The point I'm making is that this figure is the definition of, like, yeah, thumbs up, okay, and that's about as excited as I can get. Honestly, it's my least favorite of the 2017 Papo Theropod lineup. I think the Serrata's my favorite, Cryo is a close second, and this one's kind of a distant third. Now, having said that, there's actually certain things that I don't mind about this figure that most people seem to mind a lot more than I would expect. One of the main things is the elephant in the room, which is the pose. It's not the greatest pose in the world, and really there's two bad things about it. First of all, it's the contact points. There's 3 of them. Tripodal, yay. And the other problem is this warping right here. Not only does it lean on one of its fingers, but if you keep this on a shelf or whatever and it's in its normal standing position on its 3 primary contact points, it is inevitably going to warp, or this hand is going to warp, until the 3rd finger touches the ground. That's the point at which it'll finally stop, or at least that's the point at which it's finally seemed to stabilize on mine. One of the other things that gets talked about a lot on this is the color scheme. I don't mind it. It's pretty much a Papo rainbow color scheme. We've seen it a million times, basically this exact same color palette of, you know, blue and orange and purple. It's a good combination, but getting a little sick of it. Now, of course, this particular variant, as far as I know, is retired now, very, very soon after it came out, because they already came up with one they liked better. And most people do like the new one better, and the new one, for anyone who hasn't seen it, is basically a tiger striped sort of a theme. I like the new one. I think, you know, thinking in sort of eco-behavioral terms, it probably makes more sense. It's more camouflaging to have stripes. There's some actual morphological consistency and sense to that. This is more just, hey, colors are fun, but it's not super bad. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it to the point where I'm probably even gonna bother getting the second one. When I first saw the new color variant, I thought I would, but I think at this point I'm just gonna stick with having this guy. I'm fine with that. As far as like the usual, you know, Papo bullet points are concerned, detail and lack of accuracy, it's all really typical for Papo's like current era. As far as accuracy is concerned, it's like it's in the not that bad but far from perfect category. You know, the arms are way too freaking large and muscular and long. He's a bodybuilder. The torso is too small in comparison to the limbs. That's a problem we've been seeing since like early Papo. They always have small torsos and very pronounced limbs. Not sure why they have an obsession with that, but oh well. The skull is pretty spot on, but it's shrink wrapped a bit. The spine is like especially high over the shoulders. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it is, but whatever. The feet are a little bit big and slightly, you know, cartoonish looking. And the pose is a little bit, you know, sort of extreme. But as I said, I don't mind it. Like, I pointed out the flaws with it, but to return back to my earlier point, it doesn't bug me visually, really. Like, that's what I was getting at, is that, yeah, it has some, like, actual quality problems that it inadvertently causes. And it's unfortunate that it's technically a tripod, but I mean, it's basically the same pose they did for the Carnotaurus, and everybody loves that. Here's a bit of a closer look at the texturing. It's about, you know, equal with most current Papo figures. It looks amazing. It's Papo detail. It's always going to look amazing. Of course, as is the trend with Papo currently, the paint job quality isn't quite as good as it used to be. It's not as bad as, say, like the Baryonyx, and some of the colors are blended pretty well. But as far as, you know, paint application is concerned, it's a little stark in some places, especially on, like, the legs. It's pretty much void of any kind of... I mean, it has a slight dry brushing or staining or wash, but it doesn't have too much going on. It's similar to something like the Baryonyx, but not to the same degree. But, I mean, in terms of the sculpt, though, I mean, my gosh. Just look at that. That's incredible, as usual. Also, articulated jaw, and as far as how loose it is, Mine is weird because it was loose when I first got it and now it's tighter. Yeah, it's the exact reverse of what you would expect logically, but I guess that's a good thing. Gosh, I'm looking at the dentition now. They've got like this lower jaw like canine. Why? So what do I think of this thing overall? Well, overall, you know, it's solid. Like I said at the beginning, it is the definition of good, decent, not bad. There's nothing exceptional about it, though. In terms of accuracy, it has all the usual issues. Nothing new. As far as sculpting, I mean, the sculpting's real good, but it's nothing new. And in fact, the sculpting isn't even as nice as it was on some older Papo figures. They have this kind of lazy checkerboard sort of scalation etched into most of the body. Really, the only part with nice individual reticula is the head. And of course the paint scheme's a little simpler and brighter than what Papo used to do. It's really, this is a manifestation of all of the mediocrity of Papo's current style. It's still Papo, so mediocre Papo is still, you know, better than most. But it brings nothing new to the table, and while I don't mind the pose, the contact points and the warping that they cause is like, I normally don't focus on quality control because it's normally not too big of a thing, but with this, I mean, there's a big notable issue with quality control. I guess I recommend it. If you want like a big Acrocanthosaurus, this is kind of your best option. It's about the only like good 140 scale-ish Acrocanthosaurus around. And, you know, if you're a big fan of like Papo and like seeing things complete, then that's another good reason to get it. And that's another reason I got it, because looking at this next to the, you know, the Cryo and the Cerato as like a little three-piece little group is actually quite nice. In terms of size, too, I mean, I didn't actually bring anything for size comparison. Let me quickly grab some things. Long story short, it gets a 6 out of 10.